Hi Pisces, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your monthly report for the month of April 2022. We begin the month in Aries season. Mercury, the planet of communication, thoughts, and ideas, is transiting in the cardinal fire sign of Aries. The Sun, which represents ego and vitality, is transiting in Aries, as is Chiron, the wounded healer. And they're all transiting in your house of income, money, and what you value. So a lot of focus on your finances and bringing planning and action and light to that area. There is also a stellium of planets transiting in the fixed air sign of Aquarius in your 12th house of dreams, imagination, spirituality, and endings. Vesta, which is an asteroid that represents hearth and home. Mars, which is the planet of action and passion. Venus, the planet of love and money. Juno, which is an asteroid that represents partnering. And Saturn, the planet of karma and accountability, are all transiting in your house of spirituality and endings, purging karma that no longer serves you, Saturn, in order to manifest dreams and imagination. And there is a big Piscean and Neptunian theme that will prevail during this month and will escalate by the 20th. At that point, there will be 5 points transiting in your sign. This is a really big time for you because Jupiter, which is the ancient ruler of your sign, and Neptune, which is the modern ruler of your sign, are dancing together, and they are going to peak from April 9th through April 12th at 23 degrees and 59 minutes of the mutable water sign of Pisces. And this happens very infrequently. Neptune takes 165 years to transit, so this hasn't occurred in more than 165 years. A huge deal, and really manifesting miracles. And do you believe in miracles? I hope so, because we need them now. And I won't sing that song for you, but it's occurring in your house of beginnings, self, and immediate environment. So Jupiter has been transiting in your sign since December 28th. It will leave your sign on May 10th and enter the sign of Aries in your house of income and money until October 28th, when it re-enters your sign until December 20th. And to have this opening doors and expanding so many things for you. So we begin the month on April 1st, actually on March 31st. There is a new moon that occurs at 11:24 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time at 11 degrees and 30 minutes of the cardinal fire sign of Aries. And it occurs in your house of income, money, and what you value. This can bring great financial opportunities for you. The Sun is exalted and very powerful in the sign of Aries. It's paired up with Chiron, the wounded healer, bringing healing around this area of your life. And it's also paired up with Mercury, the planet of planning and taking action through communication and networking. So this is a very powerful new moon. Plant new seeds, write down what you want to magnetize, and definitely do the law of abundance to bring in abundance into your life. The Sun and Chiron meet up later that date at 10:56 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that brings light to the healing process. And then on the following day, on April 2nd, Mercury meets up with Chiron, the wounded healer, at 9:42 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And this brings healing through positive thinking. And then Mercury meets up with the Sun at 7:11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. A lot of focus on positive thinking around your financial situation. And on April 3rd, the moon is transiting in the fixed earth sign of Taurus, and it's transiting in your 3rd house of communication, and it meets up with Uranus, the planet of the unexpected, at 1:47 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that's one of the major aspects of the day. And that could, bring unpredictability. Maybe you have an unexpected trip. Maybe there are changes in plans. Maybe you get unexpected news. On April 5th, Venus, the planet of love and money, changes signs and enters the mutable water sign of Pisces at 11:17 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, where it will transit until May 2nd in your house of money and in your house of self and new beginnings. And Venus is exalted in your sign. It loves being there. And that brings a lot of romantic and creative and social opportunities for you. And it brings more magic to the picture. And then on April 7th, Mercury and Saturn form a very harmonious aspect at 8:37 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that's good for solid communication around business and finances, and it's just a good energy. And then on April 8th, Jupiter, which is the luckiest planet and is transiting in your sign, forms a helpful aspect to the North Node of Destiny. And for you, that could bring good aspects for financial and business opportunities. Pay attention to what comes up for you and to whom you meet. On April 9th, Jupiter and Neptune are now building up in the sky in your sign. And there's a very romantic and healing energy, very lovely energy. And they are dancing together. The moon will be transiting in Cancer then, making good aspects to both Jupiter and Neptune, very lovely energy. On April 10th, Mercury, the planet of communication, squares Saturn, the planet of restrictions. And this could bring challenging Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth. And that occurs at 4:45 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That could conceivably cause arguments or power struggles, but my feeling is that we have such lovely energy with the Jupiter-Neptune pairing. It's more about eliminating toxic thinking and habits in order to manifest the miracles. On April 10th, later in the day, Mercury changes signs and enters the fixed Earth sign of Taurus at 10:09 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, where it will be until April 29th in your house of communication and income and, communication and local community, teaching and learning and networking. Excellent if you're pitching ideas, if you're promoting your business, if you're interviewing, and communication of all forms. And then on April 12th, Jupiter and Neptune become exactly conjunct at 10:42 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 23 degrees and 59 minutes of your sign of Pisces. You do not want to miss out on this manifesting opportunity. I had a teacher once say that that's an easy money cycle, and that I think could bring in so many miracles and magic for you. On April 14th, Mars changes signs and enters your sign at 11:06 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It will be until May 24th. And that means that's a new 2-year cycle of taking action, getting involved in many different things professionally, socially. If you're trying a new workout routine, it can be very physical. Mars in Pisces is not particularly a very physical or strong placement, but it's activating your first house of new beginnings. So what you want to launch, focus on it that way, because it comes to your sign every 2 years. On April 16th, there's a full moon that takes place at 2:55 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 26 degrees and 46 minutes of the cardinal air sign of Libra. And this occurs in your house of investments and joint resources, as well as death and renewal and healing. And it may be that you're in a mourning process in some way, as many people are, and it's about honoring that energy because there is such healing energy accessible to you. That full moon does square Pluto, the planet of death and renewal, so there likely will be endings or drama with that full moon, but it's also about immersing yourself in the healing process. And maybe you've been working on something and it brings culmination financially because it's in the financial sector as well. And then on April 17th, Mercury and Venus are in harmony, and that could be good for you for social opportunities, for networking, and for feeling positive. And they align at 9:09 p.m. No, sorry, at when do they? I forgot right now, but they form a very good aspect, and that's a nice energy at 9:09 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And then Mercury meets up with Uranus, the planet of the unexpected, at 9:59 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time and at 12:59 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on April 18th. And this could bring unexpected news. This could be very innovative thinking, good for brainstorming, but whatever you think it is, it'll be something else. On April 18th, early in the morning, Venus, which is transiting in your sign, forms a very helpful aspect to Uranus, and that's very innovative and romantic, and that occurs at 3:15 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that's a really lovely energy. But later that day, the Sun squares Pluto, the planet of death and regeneration, and that occurs at 11:14 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That could involve endings. It could be very intense drama. Lay low if you're able. On April 20th, the Sun changes signs and enters the fixed Earth sign of Taurus, where it will be until May 20th, bringing light to your house of income and value system. So this is a good energy for bringing new financial opportunities. Oh no, to your thinking and thoughts and ideas. And so that's important, practicing positive thinking. On April 24th, that may not be a day that you're feeling it because Mercury squares Saturn at 9:50 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and Saturn is the planet of restrictions. And so it could be that there are delays or perhaps there are issues in communication, but later that date, Mercury forms a helpful aspect to Neptune in your sign, and that occurs at 6:37 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that could bring very creative thinking and solutions to your problems. And on April 26th, Mercury and Jupiter are in harmony, and that's really helpful for you for feeling very optimistic and positive, and that occurs at 10:11 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and on April 27th at 1:11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that's a nice energy. Now on the 28th, Mercury forms another good aspect to Pluto, the planet of transformation, and that occurs at 8:05 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Empowerment through your thinking. But the end of the month is going to be really intense because Pluto, the planet of power and transformation and death and regeneration, as well as money, stations retrograde at 28 degrees and 36 minutes of the cardinal Earth sign of Capricorn. And you feel that energy 5 days before and 5 days after, and that occurs in your house of friends and groups and community, and that occurs at 2:35 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. There could be major endings with friends, or perhaps friends are going through dramatic changes. It's going to be an intense energy, and on the following day there is a partial solar eclipse on April 30th. Eclipses wake us up and shake us up. Recognize it's a time of heightened activity and energy. It could be, people can feel raised anxiety, and the eclipse occurs at 4:28 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 10 degrees and 28 minutes of the fixed Earth sign of Taurus in your house of communication and news. And it meets up with Uranus, within a couple of degrees. And Uranus has been transiting approximately at this degree for the last year and a half. Uranus is the planet of surprise and innovation and invention, but it also is the great awakener of the zodiac. And eclipses already wake us up in an instant. They can bring news that change our lives forever. They can bring major departures, major beginnings. It's also, where you don't know what it is, but it's going to be a very heightened time. And for you, a lot of communication, a lot of news, a lot of networking. So you may get really big news at the end of the month. Big time for all. Juno also is going to enter your sign, by the way, on April 20th. That's the asteroid of partnering, and it will transit in your sign until January 12th of 2023. And there will be 5 points in Pisces by the end of the month. A lot of focus on inventing and reinventing yourself and finding what makes you happy and bringing love and magic to your life. Wish you a lot of luck, and thank you, Pisces. Take care.